Okay, let's dive right in. Just imagine for a second we could totally reboot our whole approach to housing. You know, build a system that's actually sensible, totally stable, and, well, that works for everyone. Sounds kind of impossible, right? What if I told you that you could put your money into housing, but without the headache of actually buying a house? I mean, a real solid alternative to that high stakes casino game of property speculation that we're all so tired of hearing about. And look, this isn't some get rich quick scheme. It's not a wild gamble. Think of it more like a really solid government bond, something that offers steady, predictable returns. The whole point is stability, not hitting some crazy risky jackpot. Okay, now here's the really cool part. Where does all this money actually go? Well, it goes directly into building new homes. And not just anywhere, but exactly where people need them the most. So we're tackling that core problem, right? The supply shortage that just keeps pushing prices up and up. And you know what's surprising? Who this appeals to. It's perfect for cautious savers, people who just want their money to be safe. But it's also a huge win for ethical investors, people who want their cash to actually do some good in the world, something tangible. But really, at the end of the day, who wins the most? It's the people who just need a decent place to live, a place to call home. This whole system is built for them. It all sounds pretty great, doesn't it? A calm, rational, sensible solution. But there's always a but, isn't there? There's a problem. And that problem has a name: politics. Yeah, this is where our perfect, tidy picture it gets messy, because even the most brilliant plans have to survive the political wrecking ball. So, picture it. Homes are going up. The system is humming along. It's actually working. And then, bam, an election. A new government sweeps in, and with them, a whole new set of ideas, new priorities. And that, right there, is the million-dollar question. How on earth do you build a system that can survive that kind of political earthquake? How do you stop a great long-term plan from getting ripped up and chucked out the window just for a few short-term political points? I mean, we've all seen this movie before, right? A new minister shows up, all excited about their new pet project. Suddenly, the rules change. The incentives get flipped overnight. And poof, just like that, all the confidence, the very thing builders and investors need to plan for the long haul, it just evaporates. And yeah, it's super easy to just blame the politicians. But what if we're asking the wrong question? Maybe it's not, why do they meddle? But why do we keep designing policies that practically invite them to meddle? It's like we're putting a giant "kick me" sign on the back of every good idea. So how do we fix the design itself? All right, so let's talk solutions. And the solution proposed here is what we're going to call the boring blueprint. And its core idea is actually super simple but really powerful: government-issued housing bonds. So you're probably asking, okay, how does this actually work? Well, think about it like this. These bonds are issued and traded just like any other government bond. But, and this is the absolute key, they aren't backed by wishful thinking or wild speculation. Nope. They're backed by cold, hard cash, real, stable rental income. And here's the clever part. The government underwrites a chunk of that income using the housing benefit system that's already in place. This creates a fantastic reality check. If the homes can't generate a decent, stable return, well, the bonds just don't sell. Simple as that. Okay, I can hear the alarm bells ringing from here. Wait a minute, you're thinking, isn't this just the 2008 subprime crisis with a new coat of paint? And look, that's a totally fair question. But the good news is, this whole model is designed specifically to avoid that exact catastrophe. Let's just put them side by side. The subprime crisis was a total house of cards, right? It was propped up by crazy lending, the risks were all hidden and shuffled around, and the whole thing depended on house prices going up forever. This housing bond model, it's the complete opposite. It's grounded in actual rental income, the risk is right there out in the open, and it absolutely does not need an endless property boom to work. And this is maybe the most elegant part. The model has its own built-in safety brake. Think about it. If we start building too many homes too fast, what happens? Well, rents will naturally soften a bit. And when rents soften, the returns for investors go down. That makes the bonds a little less attractive, so investment slows down and construction follows suit. There's no big crash, no need for a massive bailout. It's just the market breathing, regulating itself. Now, let's be super clear about one thing. This is not about getting rid of the private housing market. Not at all. Private developers are still going to build and sell homes 100%. This whole scheme is designed to step in and fill the gaps, the places where the market struggles. Things like building genuinely affordable housing for key workers or creating more stable long-term rental options. Which brings us to the final crucial point, the ultimate trade-off. Because to get this kind of stability, this kind of long-term thinking, we have to be willing to give something up. So how do we actually make this policy boring? How do we protect it from the whims of politics? The answer is you build in some serious guardrails. First off, you have an independent body run the whole thing, not a politician. Second, Parliament sets a really clear legal mandate, a mission statement that's locked in. Then you create fixed review periods, like every 10 or 15 years, not every time there's an election. And finally, if you want to make a major change, it has to be deliberately slow and require a huge majority to pass. You lift it above the day-to-day political dogfight. So when you lay it all out, the trade-off becomes crystal clear. What do we give up? We give up some of that short-term political tinkering. We give up the splashy, headline-grabbing announcements. And what do we get in return? We get long-term stability. We get confidence for investors and builders. And, the most important thing of all, we actually get homes built for the people who need them.
And this really just nails the whole philosophy behind it. There's a quote from the source material that puts it perfectly. Investment of any kind doesn't thrive on excitement. It thrives on certainty. That's it. That's the whole game. And housing is absolutely no different.
So that leaves us with one big final question to chew on. If we're really, truly serious about fixing the housing crisis and building the homes we desperately need, are we also serious enough to do what it takes? Are we finally ready to make housing policy boring?